the idea that we sort of evolved to a biologic revolution that started in 1998 when, especially in the IBD space, when anti-TNF, specifically infliximab, was the first anti-TNF approved for Crohn's disease. And then you follow the journey over the last 20 years, and we had it approved for ulcerative colitis in 2005. Then we had adalimumab approved for Crohn's in 2007, certolizumab approved for Crohn's in ulcerative colitis, and adalimumab for ulcerative colitis in certolizumab for Crohn's disease, and then adalimumab for ulcerative colitis in 2011. So that was sort of like the tracking of the biologic revolution in the TNF space. And then we moved in 2014 to a very exciting space, which was the integrin or anti-trafficking biologics or monoclonal antibodies, and that's vedolizumab. Exciting, the idea that you can actually target the cells that are specifically tracking to the gut rather than going after cytokines, which is what really anti-TNF does. It goes after the tumor necrosis factor cytokine, and this was going after the cells that ignite the cascade to produce the cytokines, which is really interesting. So sort of steps before you even make the TNF. And then in 2016, we had ustekinumab, which is another cytokine target, which goes after the IL-12 and IL-23 pathways. And that's where we are really for the biologic space for us. And the really interesting thing is that it's just going to continue. And we sort of know over the next 7 years where all these therapies are going to position themselves. So that was on the biologic boom. And now we had the first small molecule that was approved for ulcerative colitis at the end of May, called tofacitinib, which was approved for RA many years ago and was then tested in ulcerative colitis. And the interesting thing about tofacitinib is it's an oral. So it was really the first oral approved small molecule, because methotrexate and thiopurines, to be clear, were never approved. They were just helpful and studied and reported in the New England Journal. So that became sort of dogma for us. But this small molecule was actually tested in ulcerative colitis and approved. And what's interesting about ustekinumab and tofacitinib, they're sort of the first of these classes of cytokine for IL-12/23 that we're moving even more specific in that target. And really the next big target is to remove the IL-12 and just focus on the IL-23. So there's multiple. One of them is already approved for psoriasis. So we'll be chasing the psoriasis plan and going after an IBD. And then on the tofacitinib, which is in a class called JAK kinase inhibitors, that's a JAK1, JAK3 blockade. Now we're going after JAK1 and JAK2 and TYK2. So it's each of them have this amazing sort of pipeline that we're following very closely. So it's just an amazing time to be in immune diseases, to see how we've been able to change people's lives.